Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is your boy Meech, and I'm accompanied by my two co-hosts.
Yo, it's Nizzy.
What's going on? It's Drew.
And together, we would like to welcome you to the Black Bento Podcast, where we will discuss anime, pop culture, and everything black.
Facts.
Black Bento, we're back again. Thanks, guys, for checking out the first episode. We got a lot of reviews, a decent amount of views, and we appreciate you sharing your time with us.
Facts.
Word.
Today we're going to introduce you to the second half of the podcast. It's all fun and it's cool to have anime, but we think it's equally important to talk about stuff that we take personally, and about 13-14% of the country would take personally, and that's about being black, the culture that we abide by, that we live every single day. And for black people, stuff might be repetitive. This is what we live. This is what we do on a daily basis. And for those who aren't black, it gives you some perspective. And we hope that you can use this perspective to, sympathize, empathize with a lot of the problems or issues that are coming through society. And hopefully you could, help us out. Join the cause. Lend a helping hand. Share a voice. Right?
I feel you on that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, understand that these are just strictly opinion based, all from our perspective.
Right.
And everything should be taken with a grain of salt. We're speaking freely amongst friends. We're not going to be super conservative on what we say.
Mm.
So don't take too much offense to anything. If you have an opinion, share it in the comments. Challenge us on topics. We'll talk about it next episode.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's an open discussion. DM us, whatever you want to do. We open to all of that. But just understand that it's a free conversation. We just chatting as boys, you feel me? And it is from a male perspective. In the future, we will have some guest speakers out here to speak from other perspectives, but we're only going to talk from ours and what we feel we could represent.
Right. It's all about starting a dialogue. So, to give you guys a more inside look into what we go through, we felt like it would be best to start off the podcast, this episode, by telling you some of our personal experiences, being black here in the United States of America. So I don't know if Drew or O'Neal want us to start this off. Anybody want to take the lead on this?
I think I could take this one.
Mm-hmm.
Being black in America, for me, growing up, has been almost a chain of lessons.
Mm-hmm.
So, growing up, I really wasn't in touch with the fact that I was black, simply because I grew up surrounded by an environment where people didn't really look like me. So I never really was surrounded by a whole bunch of other black people. I was more always in schools that had predominantly a majority of white. So I always didn't know that I was different from other students that I went to school with, but I didn't really feel that difference growing up as a black individual. It didn't really start hitting me that I was different in terms of my race and my ethnicity and skin color until I grew older and hit the older grades, like middle school. That's when the differentiation really came into play, and I heard for the first time a phrase that I'm pretty sure a lot of people, black people in my situation, probably heard as well. The phrase was acting white. And at first, I didn't really realize what it meant to really act white, because it's not really like a my parents didn't really teach me about acting. They more just taught me how to be respectful. And they always told me to like,
because that's what it is. You know,
exactly what it is.
Behaving like a normal person has no
A
association
decent human being.
I agree.
to
I
a race or color. But all right.
It makes perfect sense, right? So my parents really told me to just be respectful, you know, talk proper, treat people well, things that were associated to good, humane, to say the least, and honorable, I guess, behavior. So when I was told that those specific traits were attached to acting a certain race, it kind of put in perspective of how people perceived me being not that race. And that's when I started to get a little insulted. It almost became like, okay, you're kind of attacking me for something I'm not. So, fast forwarding, high school, it was more of, I'm sure my co-host here could elaborate more on it with me, because I don't know, for all the people that don't know us, we attended the same high school.
Meech did. Andrew and Meech.
Yes. Sorry. In high school, that's when it first like came into play. Like, yo, cats is really racist out here. Like, they were really like saying some sideways stuff. Like, they
thought they were slick with it. You know, they weren't outright calling us niggers. You know, what they would say, they'll do little racial gestures. Yeah. I would call it. You know, touch your hair. You know, they were like, oh, you guys
typical
like,
standard microaggressions.
Get in the back of the classroom.
Yup.
Stuff like that.
Things like that. Things of that nature. In a predominantly white school. So, when you know that is something that has to be ingrained into your life for something that you legit cannot control, it just makes you angry. Like you're just all on a constant state of almost high alert. Like,
yeah, I mean, I just want to step in here really fast. Like, that environment, that whole high school environment, being around predominantly white students, white teachers, white administration, white parents when they came in, white cafeteria workers, a white janitor, just white people in general, like, that really fucks me up now, because I feel like I got taken advantage of. You know what I mean? And since I know, I'm more conscious now, I feel, I'm more in tune with the reality of what black people face here in America. Like, it fucks me up that I didn't say something when shit was happening. You know, and when I talk, I go back to visit my high school from time to time, you know, because I feel like some people were actually, they actually helped me out. You know, I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't talk to these people. And I see a black kid in the hallway, look, I'm stopping them. Like, how's your experience here? What you doing? You get your heads in the books? You know, like, how are you being treated? They tell me so-and-so, and they're going through similar shit that I was going through in high school.
It's literally like watching the baby us.
It's like looking in the mirror.
Yeah. Experiencing the same things, the same problems that we went through. It's unfortunate that it doesn't change. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate to go back and realize the same thing is happening to students that are of the same hue as you. Because it's almost like, it's not that you're personally reliving the experience yourself, but it's knowing that someone is also going through that same experience that you had to go through is what kind of irks me. So like, we'll go fast forward into college now. So growing up in high school is where it came to like a realization that okay, now I know for a fact that I have to operate a certain way. Mm-hmm. Like, I know, but I'm well aware, I'm conscientious that my hue is what's assume is a trigger for other people, although it really should not be. And it's sad to say that I'm discriminated against for it. But I knew that was the reality of the situation. So I had to move and adjust accordingly to that. And ever since I received that enlightenment, yes, perfectly. Thank you. It made me more apt to want to be pro my community. Before I was in college, like I was never really truly pro black. Ever since I got that awareness and that perspective, it really made me want to ride out and push forward my community and see them do well. A big part of that is I'm a advocate for my club on schools. Like there's a club that we have that's called NSBE. It's the National Society of Black Engineers. For those of you who may not know, I'm an engineering major who attends Central Connecticut State University. Being a part of that group and organization helps me advocate for people who not only look like me, but also go through the same plight and the struggle that I had to go through. So when I get to do things, small things like talk to a student on what classes to take or how they should be more involved on campus, things like that, it gives me a sense of relief that I helped somebody not go through the same strife that I had to go through.
Can I ask you a question, Drew?
Sure.
So when you're talking about who are you claiming are committing these transgressions against you? Is it just non-black people, or is it black people too? Is it possible that even within the black community, that there are people who will view you as acting white?
See, that's a good point. That's a loaded question only because I've had cases when I was growing up, when I was younger, where other black people also tell me that you act white. And that's what kind of threw me off.
That's what hurt more.
Yeah.
Hearing that from
your own people. It hit a lot
hearing that from your own brother, that they don't consider you a brother. It's like, boy, what the fuck are you talking about, boy? Like, you know what I mean?
Like I act white. Like we look.
That's because I enunciate my words and I participate in class. I'm acting what?
I'm trying to get you to do the same shit. Like,
you mad at me for doing what we came here to do? We're in school, boy. Like, I feel like that's a big thing that I didn't realize until college, is that, yo, you go to school to learn. And I can only speak from my experience. I went to a terrible high school. Since we're talking about high schools, I went to a predominantly black high school, and by statistic numbers, people don't graduate, people drop out, we don't go to college, stuff like that. Face inner city struggles. So by society standards, I went to a terrible high school. But what was going on in my high school was that it was some form of understanding of the student population that, like, we don't come to high school to learn. Like, we are here to meet an obligation that we have to be here. No, clown, you're here to learn. Like I didn't, but since I was living it. You feel me? I was living it for 4 years.
That's fact though.
I was living it for 4 years. I didn't realize that, like, I was in it. Like, I didn't realize I was in the system in high school because I felt like it was an obligation. But when I got to college and I reflected on it, I'm like, yo, dudes was skipping class. Dudes was coming to school high. Like, dudes was doing what instead of what? You know what I mean? Like, why? Like, so back to your point is that for some strange reason in the black community, doing what you're supposed to do in school was considered bizarre or different or acting white.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we can go back to your point. I just want to also chime in on the whole, he said pro-black. We need to end that whole association of being pro anything means anti something else. Because that's not the case.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Pro your community, pro black is just what you align with. You know what I mean? And that's what you want to represent. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're from New York, you're probably a fan of the Knicks. You know what I mean? Some people probably not. But it's just, you're from New York. Like, you're pro Knicks. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
People, I never understood that either. Why one couldn't be like mutually exclusive from the other? Like, why is it that you have to be anti something to be pro another thing?
It makes no sense, and it's just people trying to simplify things that are not simple. And I feel like that's another problem humans do. You can't simplify everything. Some things are meant to be complex. Some things are meant to be dynamic. So we go back to what y'all was saying.
Yeah, I just want to speak on this high school thing really fast. Right. So when I was applying for colleges, my aunt sat me down, and she was like, "Dimitri, have you applied for any HBCUs?" I said, "Nah, I don't want to go to any HBCUs." Looking back, I wish I did.
Yeah,
that shit.
My counselor didn't even tell me about HBCUs.
My counselor didn't either. I said my aunt.
Same.
Oh, yeah.
I said my aunt.
Bro, I didn't know HBCUs existed until I got to a PWI, and they told me, "Why didn't you come to HBCU?"
No HBCU was checking for high school.
Oh, hell no. Hell no. I don't even think my high school would have let HBCU even
come in. They probably didn't even tell them.
Come in the door.
I went to a black high school, bro.
And did they tell you?
No. I didn't know it existed, bro.
Yeah, look, I'm saying the only thing I knew was Howard, bro.
I never heard of Howard.
The only thing I knew was Howard.
I literally never heard of Howard until I got to college.
I knew Howard and Spelman. Those are the only two I knew.
That's it.
But hey, I don't regret anything. But
yeah, she sat me down. She said, "Dimitri, did you apply for any HBCUs?" Like, nah, I don't want to go to HBCU. What are you talking about? Because she was like, "Yo, do the people around you look like you?" And I was like, I mean, nah, but I'm used to being surrounded by like non-black people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm used to this. Like, I mean, it didn't even faze me that I was going into an institution, a PWI, that had that, because I was used to the environment. So when I got there, I was just like, whoa, like, black people that come here, if they come here, they stay for a semester. Like I said, I was fortunate enough to stay all 4 years. You know, I was fortunate enough. And the most black people that did come there, they were there for football, basketball, and they didn't come back.
That's a lot of PWIs.
Of course, and it's the sad reality. It's the sad reality of the fact and all stuff. But then when you're there at a PWI, sometimes you feel like you have to validate yourself. You know what I mean? Because people, they hear affirmative action. Like, yo, did you really earn your spot here? And, what, you want to say?
Just to clarify, not to cut you off, for those who don't know, PWI, it stands for predominantly white institution.
Right.
I'm assuming some people might not know what that stands for. HBCU is historically black college and university. Those are the acronyms we're using. But back to Dimitri.
Right. So I'm in this PWI, and I'm forever thankful for this experience. I know earlier I said I wish I went to HBCU, but I'm forever grateful that I went to this PWI, because I feel like I wouldn't be doing this podcast right now
if you went to HBCU.
My passion for being black wouldn't have been fueled as much if I didn't go there.
So I don't like to talk about that too much because we never went there and we never lived it. But I completely agree in the sense that like going to a PWI gives you a different kind of perspective.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can't speak on the other perspective. And maybe if we met someone who would like to come on the podcast and talk about it, whatever, cool. But I completely agree with you. It gives you a different type of perception of self.
Right. Yeah. And so you like, I mean, I was in college, the Black Lives Matter movement started. You know, Alton Sterling, you know, Tamir Rice, you know, Eric Garner, all this stuff happened. Sandra Bland, and now we're like, yo, this is the, like, I'm identifying with black people where I'm like, oh, this is wild. Like, we need to discuss this. You know, girl in my class. Oh, go ahead. You about to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, we get worked up.
This is passion. If you call it passion, it's called passion. Look, girl in my class said word for word in the classroom. Like, yo, if black people want us to care about their lives, then, yo, they got to care about their lives first. Like,
whoa!
Bro, that's the nerve, the audacity, dog. Like, you understand? Like, you can't say shit like that and then, like, you never even been in the black community, bro. I grew up in the church. We pray every day for gun violence. You know what I mean? We hold food drives, you know, clothing drives. We handle like all this stuff.
Well, she's ignorant,
bro. But bro,
you can't
at the end of the day, that's just ignorant people saying ignorant things.
Yeah,
you feel me? And it's a sad case, and it's up to us to do our part in enlightening others. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And also our responsibility to be willing to be enlightened. Because that's the thing. It ain't that people not telling her. It's that she ain't trying to hear it.
Right.
You feel me?
It's even worse.
That's when it's worse.
Even
I was talking to Andrew about that the other day.
Worse.
It's one thing to not know when you're doing wrong.
Oh my God.
But to not want to accept being told you're doing wrong.
Well, I mean, the hardest thing is acceptance. Because if it's normalized to you, you don't want somebody
You know what
coming
I'm
to you
saying?
saying, "Look, you're wrong."
So she might just have grown up in a very tight space. She didn't allow much room to see the perspective of others. For her to say that black people need to care about their own life more. What the fuck?
Why do you think we so fucking mad?
Yo, niggas be like,
it's
O'Neal.
like they see black people that are angry, and I'm like, damn.
They be like, yo,
Why
O'Neal,
so
you don't
many
smile in no
people?
pictures. Of course. I don't got a reason to, my nigga. Fuck.
I don't understand, bro. Like this anger shit is built up, dog. Like this shit don't come from anywhere.
Like we just angry for no reason.
No, this shit doesn't come from anywhere, bro.
That make no
This shit
sense,
They
yo.
doesn't
think I walk
come from
around
anywhere.
like somebody stole my lunch.
So fuck, like niggas just wake up mad, being like, "Yo, man, like, yo, these niggas, like, oh, come on now, I can't even get the words in my mouth. This shit get me mad right now, though." Yo,
Word.
man, all right, let's change subject. Let's change the subject.
Nah,
bro.
I mean, we're going on a little tangent. But back to the original point, your experience being black in America. You want to go ahead, Dimitri?
Man, my experience of being black in America, you know, as it's grown on me, like I said, I've been learning. Like I wasn't always quote unquote conscious. I wasn't quote unquote woke, enlightened, achieving nirvana.
That's a very real thing, though. You
Yeah.
ever met a black person that ain't woke?
It's the most frustrating shit in
shit
the world.
they be saying?
Oh God, it's the most frustrating.
What
shit
do you mean real oppressed?
Bro, you about to get me started, yo. You about to get me started, O'Neal. You know I have that potential to go off on this shit, man. No.
Everything is equal. All right, go ahead.
You holding yourself back.
I don't see
Like,
how
get the fuck out my face, man. All right. That's the point.
I'm not black. I'm human.
All lives matter. What?
Man,
Go ahead.
Someone get punched in the temple over that shit, bro. Like, all right. But no, realistic, it's been an experience of constant learning. I wasn't woke. Like I said, like I let white people touch my hair. You know, I let them call me chicken lovers before. Like they made racist jokes and go sit in the back of the bus. Go sit in the back of the classroom. Oh, you could read? Nigga, I was watching To Kill a Mockingbird in class and everybody looked at me, bro. Like this was the shit that like this is the shit that actually happened in the classroom.
I know every black person had to experience at least once when
Well, I used to
slavery
hate that
come
shit.
up in a history class or some black topic come up. And all their heads just turn like a horror.
Well, I'm not gonna say everybody. It depends if you were a black person surrounded in a predominantly
yes.
white institution.
Sorry, that's why I meant
High school,
There you go.
middle school, college. That's what it is.
Everybody, all their heads just turn right to you like a horror movie. Like Get Out.
Right, and then at that time I'm looking. So now I'm seeing you know, shit on the news. I'm seeing shit trending on Twitter, and I'm just like, yo, like, are we really safe? And I'm going back home. And I'm going to college in Pennsylvania, and my parents are calling me like every day, like, you okay? You okay? You okay? Like, yeah, I'm fine. Stop calling me. Like, I'm good. Like, if I need something or if I feel like I'm in trouble, I'll call you back. But I understand what they were doing.
They're watching the news at home.
Right.
And they're fearing that
And
their
fucking
kid is gonna
paranoid.
get smoked.
Exactly. And you know, and shit like that. Like I said, I like fall is my favorite season. I like to walk outside with my hoodie on and stuff. Like, my mom like, Dimitri, take that off. Like, what are you doing? And, like, you look like a thug. You know what I mean? But like
Air quotes.
air quotes and stuff like that. But it's just a perception that people have of me, because in the reality, like, if someone looked at me the wrong way, like, it's over for me. You know what I mean? And that's the reality. No, we're vulnerable. No matter where we go. The people who are supposed to protect and serve, we're vulnerable to them. You know, like, it's crazy.
It's honestly like
disgusting. And I'm not gonna say no other, but like, it's normal. You know what I mean? Like, we see this shit on the news, we don't get fazed by this shit anymore.
It's been normalized.
extremely.
So, in a few words, to sum up your feelings, is your vulnerability.
Yeah.
To our oppressors.
Yeah, vulnerability.
And the ever changing.
I mean, like I said, it's vulnerability, and oppressors. Like, that's a very loose term. That can mean a lot of stuff. But I mean, we could get into a whole lot of stuff. Like institutions, people, all that stuff. But yeah, Like, I'm thinking about my son already. Like, do I even want like little Dimitri Jr. Like, come on now. Like,
I do too. I do too, and I think that
my daughter too. Of course.
Yeah.
Too.
You never know. Yeah. But I think that enough people don't do that, and it's sad that your reasoning is something negative,
right?
Out of fear of safety. But I think as a person who wants to be a good parent, you should be planning for your children way before you even know who you want to have them with.
And I
you know what I'm saying?
This is why I think I go so hard on these issues, because like by the time I'm gone, or by the time I have my kid, or when my kid is able to, go off to high school, go off to college, like I want to leave a better place for him or her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want them to experience the same shit that I'm experiencing. I don't want them to see the same shit that I'm seeing.
You want to grow up.
I want them to be different.
Grow up and be
and by the time my grandkids come, if I'm fortunate enough to have any, like that shit should be. I want that should be non-existent.
Yeah, you only want the best for your lineage.
So
that's perfectly natural.
To be blunt, is just wishful thinking. But
yeah.
The reality is, the most you could do is leave behind wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Wisdom is the key to everything, really. Educating them the shit you didn't know until college. Right. They gonna know before high school. Of course. You know what I mean? So that's
we gonna have the talk. That's just dope. Like the birds and the bees. We can have that talk.
Have to.
Gotta educate, man. Education is key. Wisdom is power. But I guess I'll chime in on my experience being black in America. To not go too much more into this topic, but I think perception of self has been the biggest thing for me, and how ever changing that is. So if I was to break my life down into arcs like an anime, like grade school, high school, college, like every arc, my perception of myself has become more and more black. That sounds crazy. I've been black since the beginning, but like I didn't care about it. I didn't care about it. But like now, my first thing, if you ask me what I am, black. Like man, Jamaican descent, none of that is relevant currently, because I'm driving down the street and I'm looking out for cops, even though I'm not breaking the law.
You're black.
The reasoning is because of my very first title, being black. You feel me? So being black in America for me has been an ever-changing perception of self. As I get older, how I sound, how I talk in the workplace, how I dress. You feel me? How I conduct myself in certain situations. You know what I mean? Who I surround myself with. I'm around brothers like y'all. People in college, producing content, you know what I mean? Productive people. You can't associate yourself with anybody now. Because that perception is just so important.
Crazy. The way you wear your hair.
Yeah, like they are here just now banning hair.
Yeah, black hairstyles.
Yeah.
You gotta pass laws for your hair.
Yeah, they're passing laws in Cali about
anti-discrimination laws is what they call them.
For hairstyles. The fact that was even an issue.
New York, I believe, just recently.
They're getting on the wave. They're getting on the wave. I think it was Cali first.
Yo, there was an incident where this black wrestler, he had dreads.
Oh, I heard that. And they told him to cut his hair
or he couldn't wrestle.
What? Yo, I would have walked out. And the fact that his coach ain't right for him.
The fact that
I think I got more mad at the team than I did.
Yo, the fact that they let this
you got to be mad at everybody.
I'm mad at
everybody.
The whole situation, but the fact that his team
was
okay with him doing it.
Your coach let you take a color paper scissors.
The competition was more important to him, though. That's how it was. That's how they viewed it. And that's exactly how it played out.
That's unacceptable.
Sad, but true.
Unacceptable. But yes, back to what I was saying. Ever-changing perception of self. Every day I learn something new. And the way I'm viewed by other people because of the color of my skin. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And never settling and never being complacent. All these, you know what I'm saying? So we can switch to a more lighter topic. We mentioned how we dress. I seen a post on Instagram. It was kind of, people were laughing at it, but it was actually one of those jokes where like it's kind of serious, but like we're making light of it. And it was like, what are some extreme sports for black men? And I was like, damn, that's a real ass question. Like we laughing, people laughing in the comments. But I was like, yo, the first thing I thought of was wearing a hoodie.
Tim's.
I love wearing a black hoodie.
All you New York people, Tim's.
I love wearing a black hoodie. I don't know why.
I just recently started like really flexing do-rags.
Oh,
That's
my
just-
mom
that's-
hates when I wear do-rags, man.
There's so much
Cannot
connotation with
stand
it.
it.
There's
But
so
I'm really
much-
just taking care of my hair, though. That's really
Facts.
what it is. Like, I like
Honest
waves.
to God, bro. I
Man,
really
my
just
shit's on
want to make
spin. Try to have the spin cycle on.
Well, you know, I go through.
Why I got-
Look,
why
I
I
might
gotta
go
seem
through
like a
Hartford one
criminal
time.
for
They be
me?
like, wave check, and my style on point, boy.
Oh, you taking shit up. Your crush will walk away and shit.
Now you on Facebook Live looking stupid.
You see your crush screaming at another guy.
He ain't got no way.
Oh man.
But yeah, even something as simple as wearing a do-rag, you know.
Besides clothing, what's some shit that's extreme sports for black men from our perspective of black?
Extreme sport.
I'd say playing loud music. Yo, somebody in Florida got shot because he was blasting some trap music. Like, yo, I just like my shit loud, bro.
How do situations even escalate to that?
Oh no, that's
Bro, because
crazy.
people in Florida is crazy.
Like that don't make
Yo.
We already know people in Florida
Yo,
crazy. That's
yo,
not even a
If
stereotype.
you black,
No.
stay away from Florida and Texas, man. They're not for us.
Bro,
Yo,
people
they're
down
not
there,
for
the people down there don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
Don't forget Alabama, bro.
But
there's a
Florida and Texas are two different beasts. I'm
There's
telling
a
you, they're not for
plethora
us.
of southern states that I wouldn't recommend to a brother.
The whole
But-
South. I'm lying. I'm just
But yo,
I'm joking. I'm joking. But Florida and Texas, I'm not joking about.
nah, you couldn't pay me to live in Florida.
No.
But yo, dude shot him in his car because he's blasting music, bro. I blast music all the time. You
Me
feel
too.
me? That could be any one of
I
us.
volume on max all the time.
All the
Yeah.
time. So like, that's some shit to me. Like, I was mad when I heard about that shit.
Easily. Like that's something that's real simple. Another extreme sport. I don't know about anyone else. I think we talked about this when I was talking to Nizzy, by the way. Driving past police, even when you're doing the speed.
Wait.
Both
So,
hands
yo,
on the
alright,
wheel.
So I'm gonna sum this up. So basically, driving while black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Yeah,
Might as
driving
well.
while black.
Really.
Both hands on the wheel, windows rolled up,
Seat like
DWB,
90
bro.
degrees.
I gives you 25 to life.
eye contact on the road,
Yup. I don't even turn my head. I just see that through my peripheral and just keep pushing. Like
speed on 55,
on the dot.
on the dot.
No,
I ain't giving this
no.
motherfucker a single reason to pull me over.
No, I never.
Cause and we joking, we making light of it, but yo, if you could relate, let us know in the comments. Like, this is some real shit, bro. I work in a affluent part of Connecticut. I work in Windsor, East Windsor. People out there got money, and
Oh yeah.
the cops out there, they ain't trying to see me pull up playing fucking whatever I'm playing in my car. They ain't trying to see
not
me.
at all.
No, the
So-
baby pulled over. That's a ticket.
The baby.
So is a real paranoia when I'm driving to work, bro.
Yeah, no, like honestly, I get an anxiety attack. Like
it's-
it really like hits me. Like I really
Yo.
like start breathing
Yo.
different. Like I start like getting
Yo, Andrew,
jittery.
can I ask you a personal question here? I don't know.
Sure,
There was
go
an incident that you were in before, you and your mom.
Oh.
Do you want to speak on that?
Oh,
I know. I don't know if Lizzie.
Yeah, I know about it. I know
Do you want
about
to talk about that?
No, it's cool.
Yeah, shed some light on that, please.
So this is what really, before I was anxious of cops only because like the stuff I see on the news and things like that, knowing that I'm black, so it's like definitely a thing that I'm gonna have to encounter. And even growing up, like my parents used to tell me, like when you come into a situation with a cop, here's how you act. You act accordingly to make sure that you walk out of there alive and intact, not in handcuffs.
You have to swallow your pride.
Yeah. So you can't just react. You can't be emotional. You have
put
to
on a
actually
fucking
think.
performance.
You gotta act.
Basically, you gotta be a puppet.
Survival is key.
Yeah,
Facts.
shit's trash.
So I only really tell this story to my closest friends. I think I didn't tell that many people, but there was a situation where I was in, where I was driving in my hometown. It was me and my mother, and we were coming. I don't remember per se where we were coming back from, but I remember I was driving home, and I remember driving past a group of police cars. And me and my mom didn't know what the situation was about. We just remember driving past the group, and we were like, dang, because it was close to our neighborhood. We weren't far away from the house. We were like probably like 2 blocks down. And we were driving past, and we were like, yo, what's going on? Like, I hope everything is straight. Like, did anyone get hurt or did somebody get robbed? Like we knew no idea, but we weren't gonna like stop and check. We just kept it pushing. So I drive up like almost like a couple blocks, and I remember seeing a flashing police siren behind me, and I didn't know where, like, if it was trying to stop me or what was going on. I thought it was actually just going on its pursuit of whatever happened. And my mom was telling me, "Yo, pull over. They're stopping you." So I was like, "Oh, okay." I was questioning because I wasn't really doing anything. I was driving perfectly normal. Nothing was out of the ordinary. So I was like, all right, whatever. It's cool. Maybe I have like a taillight out or something. Whatever. Check whatever. I'm gonna
normal
be straight.
shit.
Yeah.
You expect
Driving while black.
Yeah.
No, keep going.
So I pull over to the side of the road, and I'm getting ready to take my seatbelt off. And all I remember is my mom just shouting and screaming, saying, no, don't move. And I look in my window, my mirror, and I see an officer pointing a gun at the car with his flashlight. And I didn't know how to react. Like, I just stiffened up. And I moved my hand slowly towards the wheel. Because in my mind, what I'm thinking is, now I'm just in survival mode. You know what I mean? I'm doing things that I've been taught. Like, now, when my parents told me all this stuff, I was like, yeah, I get it. Because I'm thinking I'm probably never going to end up in this situation the way you guys raised me anyway. But here I find myself in this situation.
That exact situation.
And so I have my hands on the wheel, and at this point I'm kind of fearful. I'm like, yo, this is really this could really be my life. Like, this could be the last time that I'm really drawing breath on this earth. So now, like I said, I'm just in survival mode. I'm just acting off of what's been told out to me, like, year by year by year. Just play it cool. Don't get emotional. Just listen to the officer, this, that, and the third. Cop comes up to the window. He lowers the gun a little bit, so now I'm thinking, okay, maybe everything is all cool. And he tells me to roll the window down. I roll the window down, and I asked him why he stopped me and my mother. And he said that there was some report of some guy who was who committed the crime. It was a robbery, I guess, that happened down there. And the vehicle description apparently happened to be the same kind of car that I had, with the license plate beginning with the same alpha letter that was on my license plate. And at that point, I was just like, okay, whatever, fair. Even if that was the case, I told at this point in time, my mom was injured. She had injured her shoulder, so she was in a sling. Her arm was in a sling, so she couldn't really move that much. And me, I was just driving normally. You would think that if somebody committed a crime there, they would have, been driving a little bit erratically, probably swerving, doing unordinary things. So I think luckily this officer was decent, and he saw that after looking in the car and seeing my mother in a sling and me not driving erratically, that he lowered his weapon, he put it away, and he just told me to get out the vehicle while he ran his background check. In the same breath that I say that the officer did decent, I also say that it wasn't very, I don't think he used too much discretion, because I was also handcuffed in that situation. I was handcuffed and told to turn around. The procedure, I was told to turn around, and he handcuffed me and kept me still for the time of doing the background check. And then the other officer proceeded to tell my mom to get out of the vehicle as well. And that's when I asked, why officer, why is she being told to get out of the vehicle? You could see her arms in a sling. And then the officer that was with me said she's fine, she could stay. So thankfully, thank God, that situation didn't escalate to there, because it could have. And then after doing the background check to clarify and wrap this up, the officer had found out that obviously I wasn't a part of the situation, and that everything cleared out. I wasn't whoever the perpetrator they were looking for, but the situation ended up de-escalating. So luckily, I made it out of that situation alive and well, and I'm here to share that with you all today. But my point in being is that I felt that during that whole instance that I lost my peace of mind. That's the main thing that I wanted to like drive home there, because that situation, I legit did nothing wrong. I was driving.
Besides being black, apparently.
Yeah. I was driving perfectly normal with my mom, my mother in the car. Like, who do you know would rob someone with their mother in the car? With an injured woman in the car, who do you know is robbing somewhere and driving normal past cops? It makes no sense to me. Yeah. But bro, that's what happened.
I commend you, bro.
Yeah.
That patience you must have had.
One wrong reaction could have ended completely different.
And that's the thing, though. In that situation, I wasn't even thinking like that. I was literally just thinking of, how am I going to make it past here? You don't think about, you're literally just in survival mode. You don't think about reacting like that. You're just thinking, what is the most optimal way that I'm going to make it through this situation without it escalating to me losing my life, or my mother losing my life. Or her life, I'm sorry. And so I just role played. I just role played.
Because survival is key.
Did what I needed to do, and I made it out of the situation, thankfully. And it sucks because I'm thankful for myself, but there's other individuals in our community who didn't get that benefit.
Right.
And they suffered the loss of their life, or the life of their loved one. So
that shit's unacceptable.
It's scary. It's scary to be in an environment where you have to have that such anticipation and anxiety that when you walk or drive or just around a police officer that you're supposed to, in a wonderful perfect world, trust to protect, and literally in their job description is to protect and serve, not be fearful of. Protect and serve, and you have to worry about whether or not they're going to place harm onto you.
That shit's crazy, bro.
That's terrifying.
That shit's crazy. There's one cop that sits in a little driveway right before my job, and I promise you, I check that driveway every fucking day, just to see if, you know what I'm saying. Sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not. And if he there, best believe I'm hitting the brakes, slowing down, and I'm stiffening up, because it's like a dice roll. It literally is a dice roll. What happened to Andrew? Well, unfortunately, happened to Andrew was literally a dice roll. If Andrew just went down a different street, it could have been someone else, and they could have shot him. Because if they might not have been as patient as Andrew. I'm telling you. Because I'm telling you right now,
if Andrew reacted wrong, man, it could have been him.
Like, most people would have been livid as hell. You got your mom in the car, bro. You pulling me over? I got my mom in the car. You got guns out? For what, bro?
And it wasn't just one. It wasn't. I didn't mention this. It wasn't just one cop. I think what really set my mom off is that it was multiple officers. It wasn't just him. It was like 3 or 4 officers that came up to the car, flashlights, guns. That alone in and of itself. I don't know if a lot of listeners out there had ever had like police officer pointing a gun towards them, especially for no reason. Having someone point a gun towards you is terrifying enough. But having 3 or 4 individuals creeping up to your vehicle, pointing guns at you, bro, I couldn't even explain to you the things that were going on in my mind at that point. But I don't even want to talk about
I mean,
that.
I wouldn't expect you to, bro. Like, that shit is, like, something that's unexplainable.
Bro.
Like, when I heard that shit, like, I was mad.
I told him. He told me.
I was in a complete
We was
different
at work,
state.
and he told me. I was like, what the fuck?
Nah.
I was, like, that shit blew my mind, bro. Almost lost our friend over nothing, dog.
Yeah.
Like, man. Anyway, so that's an extreme sport if you ain't know, driving. Yo, they laughing from a place. They laughing from a place of understanding. But I'm dead ass right now. Driving is dangerous for us, and that's just our perspective. If you got an opinion on it, share it in the comments. DM us. Let us know what's up.
If you had a
Story,
experience,
feel me. You can hit Andrew up. All our social medias are
And, like,
on our channel.
We respect opposite opinions. We really do.
Yeah.
That's what we do here. We talk. You should hear us talk among ourselves.
Yeah, it gets much crazier. This is us.
More heated.
This is us toning it down. Feel me?
This is the light. This the light bento. This the light bento y'all get.
Word. So,
Yo,
to keep it moving, unless anyone else has another piece on extreme sports.
go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Keep it moving. Another thing we wanted to hit on was
The black accountability.
Oh yeah, we kind of touched on that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, but I mean, this is
we
a lot
can
of-
really
really like go into
Yeah,
it.
we can really get into that.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on that. We can go on.
You want to start it off? Or?
Yo. Before we recorded this episode, started recording this episode, we were talking about a situation. Everybody should know about the situation right now with ASAP Rocky. You know,
My boy.
and we all,
ASAP Rocky.
ooh, and we all have some strong opinions on him.
He's in Sweden. If you ain't know, he's in Sweden right now in a prison cell because he got into an altercation overseas despite being rich and famous for multiple years. Something you would. Reason I add those two details in is that you're not new to this, bro. Like, come on, you've been overseas before. You know how it works. You can't get into trouble overseas because you don't have power over there being a foreigner. Anyway.
You know he got a longer sentence when Donald Trump tried to go over there?
What?
When tried to talk to the prime minister, they gave him a longer sentence.
This is new?
Yeah. I just saw it on Twitter like 2 days ago.
Damn.
Anyways, but that's besides the point.
Damn, that universe still working. That universe don't stop, boy.
That's what, like, Andrew and Nizzy, they could tell you right now, like, Dimitri Coles has no sympathy for ASAP Rocky. Not a bit of it. Not a bit of it.
And O'Neal or Nizzy, I have slight, like, little to none. Because not even because what Dimitri's about to tell you. Dimitri has a very valid reason. My reasoning is just pure logic based and expectation based. If I'm rich and famous and I've been doing this for some time, this is your job. Being a rapper is not a persona; it's a job.
Mm-hmm.
You fucking perform overseas and understand that overseas is different rules. There's no reason you should be fighting anybody. You have security guards. You got money. Just leave, bro. Like, come on. You know what I mean? So you risking your fortune, your future over a night you got drunk and somebody pissed you off.
He has security. That's the weirdest part about it.
Yo, so that's my expectation from him is much greater because of his situation.
I didn't understand. Was security with him? Did they ever say?
I don't know the deets, but
man, it doesn't matter.
He put hands on somebody.
Yeah, it doesn't matter security.
But I'm saying
it doesn't matter.
Security with him. I don't understand how that could even.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
he did something stupid, and now he's locked up. They won't let him out.
Locked up.
So look, for those of you, I'm gonna tell y'all the reason why Dimitri Coles, Meech, does not have a damn bit of sympathy for ASAP Rocky.
Talk to him.
So I know a lot of people are familiar with the Michael Brown situation, Ferguson, Missouri. I don't have to go over that. But Michael Brown was gunned down by a police officer in Ferguson, Missouri. Me being pro-black, me sympathizing with black families losing their loved ones, I'm pretty sure that you put two and two together, you can get how I feel about that. So ASAP Rocky was actually asked a question by a reporter. The reporter asked, do you ever feel like you're being forced to address these issues? Speaking about issues of police brutality, issues that black people in America are going through on a daily basis when you think about it. This shit, that you only hear about shit that gets reported, but this shit happens on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And if Andrew and O'Neal will permit me, I'd like to read the quote that ASAP Rocky gave to the reporter.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
All right, cool. So ASAP Rocky said, they're not forcing me to do shit. I'm just going to stay black and die. Why? Because I'm black. So every time something happens because I'm black, I got to stand up. What the fuck am I? Al Sharpton now? I'm ASAP Rocky. I did not sign up to be no political activist. I want to talk about my motherfucking lean, my best friend dying, the girls that come in and out of my life, jiggy fashion that I wear, my new inspirations in drugs. I don't want to talk about no fucking Ferguson and shit because I don't live over there. I live in fucking Soho and Beverly. I can't relate. I'm in the studio. I'm in these fashion studios. I'm in these bitches' drawers. And I'm not doing anything outside of that.
End quote.
Wow.
From your boy A$AP Rocky.
Wow.
Fast forward a couple years, and the universe is in full effect.
The
universe has a great sense of humor, bro.
Yo, you ever seen Birdman rub his hands together?
Yo.
What happened to that boy?
Yo, but what I like to tell all my peers, the universe pays everybody back.
That energy that you put out is definitely bound to
You don't need to be religious. You don't need some divine explanation. But trust and believe that this universe will pay your ass back. Whether it be good or bad, it's up to you.
Circle.
Yeah.
Whether it's good or bad, it's up to you. When you see somebody winning, you're like, damn, they blowing up. They super successful. You don't know what they was doing behind closed doors. You don't know the advice they was giving to people, the events they was showing up for, the peers they was holding down. You don't know the good they was doing. So when the good come back to them and you get to see the result, you just hate it. And when you see somebody going through some real shit, or some trauma or whatever, you don't know what they was putting out. Because I didn't know A$AP said all that until Dimitri enlightened me. And that changed my perspective of him entirely.
Oh, yeah, in general. Because, yo, this is funny. And these guys know how I feel. So I'm going to tell you guys how I feel. I feel that when you have a platform, a public platform, you're a celebrity. Whether you're an athlete, a rapper, a fucking politician, a fashion designer, whatever you are. When people know who you are, and you have the power to make great influence, like a great impact on the society, like you should take up that mantle. Spider-Man, yo, when with great power comes great responsibility.
I tell you, yo, that's facts, bro. That goes back to accountability, which is our original topic.
Right. So for him to say a quote like that shit made me feel like he abandoned us. Like he forgot where he came from. Like there are black people losing loved ones in this country, and he's saying, look, I'm still making money, so I don't give a fuck.
And the craziest part about it, the craziest part.
Go ahead, Drew.
This makes me actually love black people a lot. It makes me love black people a lot, and kind of also
frustrates me a little. Frustrates us a little bit. But go ahead, continue.
But the good part about it is that, granted, he said all this to put us to the wayside because he wanted to be his persona. Like, I'm A$AP. I don't gotta do nothing for nobody. Yeah. Now that he's in this sticky situation, all you see is free A$AP. Send him home. Yo, A$AP needs to get out of prison. Send Donald Trump over.
Who's the
people that are saying
Who's he leaning on?
It's the black community.
The same community you ain't want to pick your kid up for.
Like, what the... Yo, the universe really is trolling this.
Fuck that nigga, man. Like,
and the universe is giving it to him full circle. And I love it. But within the same breath...
Oh, God.
My co-host might not feel the same empathy. I don't feel like the conditions that he is. Granted, he knew he was in a foreign country. It was stupid. He shouldn't have did it. But the conditions that he's in isn't really tolerable either. So I don't want to see people in intolerable conditions. It sucks. You don't want to see
for y'all who don't know, if you ain't realized by now, Andrew's the nicest one out of the three.
He has a heart.
He's the good guy here.
Look, I don't want to see people.
Meech doesn't give a damn about what conditions A$AP Rocky's in. Because Michael Brown, Tamir Rice, Sandra Bland, Alton Sterling, Eric Garner, their condition is deceased, and that's the most. That's the most. Damn. Oh, you feel.
That hit home.
That hit hard, huh?
That hit hard. He's like, damn, I'm feeling sorry for this nigga.
And all that.
He wasn't riding for the BLM, for the Black Lives Movement.
So no matter how you slice it, A$AP Rocky's condition is better than theirs. and better than their loved ones.
That's a fact.
So it's like you
boy.
could never have insurance on a life, bro.
That's a fact, boy. So when you had your big ass platform,
that would hit different.
now when you was out in the U.S., you had your big ass platform. You didn't want to use it to speak for our people. Now you in the dark ass room.
Shit in the corner.
Cold as fuck.
Talk about, I'm ASAP, man. Yo, call my manager.
Yo, he coming, yo. He gonna be here, yo. What?
Nah, but all jokes aside, like that's why I don't care about. I don't care about ASAP's condition and stuff like that. But what I will say to shed more positive light on people who have a platform. This is why I appreciate people like LeBron James. Why I appreciate people like Serena Williams. They use their platform all the time. I was just telling Nizzy and I was telling Drew. A reporter asked, like, Serena, like, would you ever stop talking about issues? No.
Serena, stupid.
Why would you even ask?
Fuck boy out my face.
I would have been like, Serena, she answers that a lot better than me because I would be like, fuck out of here. Why would you even ask that dumbass question? But she was like,
get
look.
the fuck out of my face.
But she simply said, the day I stopped talking and advocating for people who look like me and you, talking about black people, brown skinned people, is the day I go to the grave. That's how it should be.
That's real.
That's how it should be.
And if you got a platform, you should do that. Even with our little platform, we try and, you feel me? Like the original topic, accountability, I brought that topic to the table because I get so mad that like I feel like the black community, they don't hold each other accountable, bro. Like it gets me mad, bro. Let me give you an example. Like if you live in a impoverished neighborhood, a dangerous neighborhood, and you an 18-year-old young man, and you see a 14-year-old young man about to go commit a crime, and you don't stop him or say something, you might as well go do it with him.
Preach.
You might as well just go do it with him. To see evil and to not stop it is just as bad as doing it.
Cooperating with it, though.
You know what I mean? You're letting it go. And that's in the black community, we've been conditioned to think that like, yo, don't snitch, mind your business, XYZ. No, bro. If you see a boy doing something wrong, let him know. If Andrew or Dimitri are doing something stupid, they know O'Neal will tell them, bro, this is dumb as fuck. True. Like, I will tell them to their face.
We all do that.
Blunt as fuck. Like, bro,
you have to.
Bro,
you have to.
What you're saying right now don't make no damn sense. And it makes me mad that the black community just lets certain shit slide. Like, drunk driving. There's so many people in our community that think drunk driving is some type of
accomplishment.
If you don't,
I can drive drunk.
If you can't,
you got H.
You pussy. Like
you got H, nigga. What? You got H till you dead, boy. Drunk driving is not okay, bro.
You get smacked by a tree, it's done.
Like, you feel me? And we gotta push in our community to hold each other accountable. One thing I take personal, I go to my high school and talk to the kids at my high school, bro. Like, how could I go to college as an engineering student and see what I had to deal with coming from a statistically terrible high school, almost dropped out, XYZ, all that shit, and not go back and say a couple words?
Share the knowledge.
Share the path.
And it's not even, people act like it's a lot that they have to do. How much time you spend? Like, what, 20 minutes?
Just time, bro. All it is solid 30, 40 minutes. Talk to a high school student and be like, yo.
Change their whole life.
What's your plan? Oh, maybe you should consider this. Go to college.
Oh, I never saw it that way.
You feel me? When I was in high school, I had one dude come through. I think he went to Southern or some school. He came and talked to a bunch of us. And he was just making the impression like yo, college is a good thing. And after that day, I was like, yo, I gotta go to college. It's that simple. Like, obviously, everybody brainwashes us. Go to college, go to college, go to college. But when you have someone that's close to your age and that looks like you, say it to you, it hit different.
It means more.
And we don't do that enough. There's too many people my age doing well, starting brands, doing all that shit, and don't take a second to go talk to some youth, bro.
Tell them how to start their own brand.
Bro, go talk to the kids, bro.
Ask them
like,
what they want to do. If it's
gotta
something similar to you.
You know what I mean? Like,
you never know.
We gotta hold each other accountable out here, and it makes me mad. We let too much shit slide, bro.
No,
That's true.
I agree.
That's true.
Like what Rocky said, the fact that the people on his team probably
pisses me off.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
it
pisses me off.
They let that slide. Like, let him say some dumb shit like that. Come on, bro. So, how y'all feel about accountability?
Man, like I spoke my piece. Drew, you got something on accountability? You want to say something up there?
Man, I don't think I would really add any more to this because
everything I see after this is gonna be anger.
Yeah,
It's gonna be anger. I don't even think it's gonna be substance.
Yeah, I agree with you. But the main thing I want to drive home on accountability is that if you, like Andrew mentioned, you know better, do better. You know what I mean? And if you feel like you can make a little impact, even as small as it might be, you might change somebody's life. You know what I mean? Think about all those little wise words of wisdom you got from somebody, or that one adult figure who you kind of look up to said something to you that hit you different. You could be that for somebody else, but you won't know if you're not in the position to. You feel me? I feel like the universe places us where we need to be, and it's up to us to make the choice that the universe wanted. You know what I mean? And sometimes we don't make that choice, and we go the other route, and you see how it plays out. So,
I agree. Like I said, graduating college, I want to be a lawyer, you know, and stuff like that. I started out, my internship was at the district attorney's office. We're in the district, I was in the youth aid program. So these are youth that are coming in here that could potentially get records and stuff like that. And we got to help them through the program so they can get their records expunged, so they don't get convicted. Then after that, like, I'm like, damn, I still want to be a lawyer. Then all of a sudden, like, I get AmeriCorps. They placed me in Hartford. I'm mentoring kids at inner city, at-risk youth, kids that miss 90 days on average, like of school. And so like, and I talk to them. That's all it is. Just talk to them, because I realized the only difference between them and me was a circumstance. You know what I mean? They weren't fortunate enough as me. They weren't able to grow around in a stable household like I was, with both parents, who told me like, yo, you gotta keep your head on straight. You gotta get your shit together. And I'm talking to them. They telling me they want to be marine biologists, gun manufacturers, like state police officers, you know, doctors, lawyers, and stuff like that. And who's telling them? They gotta keep them on the right path. That's all it is. Exactly. Encourage. Yo, words have power.
Facts.
Extreme power. Okay, I think one little thing that I want to add on to accountability is that another big thing with accountability is that a topic of supporting Black businesses, because we always tell each other how there's not enough Black representation in business, or how there's not enough brands.
We love to complain about it.
I completely agree.
Black people love to complain.
Never ever want to be part of that solution.
That's a blanket statement.
And even having whatever complaints they have, not being a part of the solution,
it's just as bad.
It's just as bad.
Just literally just as bad.
Right?
And we fail to understand that. It could be even as simple as if your friend has a business, buy something from your friend. Or tell other people to buy. Exactly.
I want a discount.
Tell people about what your friend is trying to do. Uplift them. You can't be friends with somebody who's having a business and you don't support them.
That's not your friend.
You're not friends. You're not friends.
Your associate. That's your associate. That's not your friend.
Because if your friend is truly your friend, they will support your business.
I go hard.
Blank period.
I go hard for all of my friends that's doing a little brand or whatever.
That's right.
We have friends going hard for us.
Facts.
Right now with this podcast, all our listeners, I appreciate it.
Yeah. For honest, they're doing some good work communicating for us, and help us out. So that's a big thing for me. If we're really gonna hold ourselves accountable to the standard of where we get to elevate ourselves as a community, we really need to start doing the work and pushing each other to help us grow. Having a brand and supporting it is one of those steps that we can take, and I feel like we don't do that enough.
At all.
I completely agree, bro. Oh, God.
That's some real shit, though, man.
Shit.
Word.
I'm comfortable ending the episode on that.
Yeah.
Unless I have something to say.
Yeah, that was a pretty dynamic episode.
I think we covered a lot of topics. Everyone listening, leave some comments, DM us, share your thoughts. We appreciate you coming back a second time. And if there was anything you wish we talked about, you know what I mean?
Yeah, want us to hear us talk about
next time. You want to hear our opinion on something next time?
Always need ideas.
Let us know, man. We taking all advice about everything. Yeah. And if you could take away something from this episode, is that have an idea of what you could add to someone else. You know what I mean? Because that accountability really hits home for me, because it's like that little thing you might say to somebody might change their future.
Life.
You feel me? 20 minutes of your time could be 20 years for somebody. And you got to understand that value of words. You don't got to be famous. You don't got to have a massive platform. You don't got to be a superstar.
You just got to care.
Yo.
Facts. All I'm gonna say is facts. I hope you enjoyed the podcast, y'all. It's your boy Nizzy.
Your boy Meech.
And your boy Drew.
See you next time.
Black Bento out.